Strahl, please. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. In my neck of the woods here, Washington State is now vaccinating 16-year-olds, offering vaccines to 16-year-olds. We've heard cases of the United States actually offering vaccines to zoo animals. We're still at people in their 70s and 80s booking appointments well into the future. We're into more lockdowns here now because, quite frankly, we're so far behind the 8 ball when it comes to vaccines. So I was very disappointed to hear that there was no plan to address the border issue. I would argue we can't simply wait to catch up on vaccines. And we talked repeatedly about integrated supply chains, but that includes more than just the groceries, as my friend Mr. Lewis said. It includes people. It includes technicians, salespeople, managers who, as we fall further and further behind on vaccines, we lose more and more business to the U.S., which is able to operate and open more rapidly than us. So is there a plan? I'll ask again what Mr. Lewis asked. Is there a plan? Are there metrics in place? Are you in active negotiations to come up with a way for us to stem the flow of jobs to the United States while we catch up on vaccinations, which we are so far behind the United States on right now?
Thank you for that question. Let me start where you ended with respect to vaccines. I just want to assure you and Canadians that we are on track to get 43 million vaccines by the end of June, and nothing is more important to us than working urgently to have vaccines into the arms of Canadians. The approach we have taken, of course, I am working in a whole of government approach with my colleagues to be sure that very careful balance of containing, fighting COVID-19 here is done, while at the same time working to support businesses on that road to recovery. But we've also taken some creative approaches to helping businesses grow and to find, to get into the international markets using opportunities like virtual trade missions. Literally around the world, we've done several throughout this pandemic, and businesses
Thank you, Minister. I have such a limited time, and I was asking about the border there. I will go back. You keep talking about this Team Canada approach, and quite frankly, I think the approach that this government has taken has failed us on Keystone XL. It's failed us on softwood lumber. It's failing on Line 5, and I'm just wondering why. If we do the same things over and over again, there's this. I think we're living in a fantasy land if we think we have not worked in the past simply because there's a new administration in Washington. This administration has been very clear, as Ms. Alicev said, about what their priorities are. And when they made that known to us previously on the Keystone XL pipeline, the Prime Minister said, well, that's a campaign commitment he made. He's going to keep it. So he's also made a campaign commitment on Buy America. And so what makes you think that we are going to be successful this time around when on KXL, Line 5, softwood lumber, the government has failed to get the agreements and the results that Canadians expect them to get on those files?
Well, let me start with softwood lumber. We absolutely are going to stand up for Canadian businesses. We believe that that the way forward is a negotiated settlement or agreement. I raised this issue with both the president as well as the new U.S. trade representative. The cost of lumber is such that it is driving up housing prices, and it's harming both the sector and its workers. And I am keen to continue this work with the new administration, and we'll press for a negotiated agreement around softwood lumber. Around Buy America, as I said, if there are efforts to expand or introduce new domestic content requirements, we will absolutely work to ensure that that does not apply to Canada, and it does not apply and affect Canadian supply chains. In my interaction, as well as that of our government, we've agreed that we are going to work together to make sure that that there aren't unintended consequences to our supply chains. This is work that continues. We have successfully worked in a Team Canada approach with many interlocutors from business to labor to government officials. I do that work along with my colleagues, but I would also invite all of us as parliamentarians, I mean, to take that Team Canada approach and let's work together to make sure that we are advancing this important economic and bilateral relationship to the benefit of our businesses and our people.